Good morning, Vietnam. Not quite Vietnam. Good morning from Liepaja. That's right, as if there could be any mistake about it. Very nice little addition in this hostel room. They've put a couple of guidebooks, both in English, and a big map of Liepaja itself with quite a bit of detail. That one's in Russian, but never mind, you can still read a map, can't you, in any language. These were just tucked away underneath the TV, which doesn't work, in the corner of the room. I didn't see them when I arrived, but this morning they are here for me to investigate and to help me with my planning for what I want to see and do in the town. So that's nice. I've made myself at home, as you can see, and I'm about to eat breakfast. I've slept like a baby. What does that actually mean? Was I up kicking and screaming all night? On the contrary, I slept soundly. Very, very nice. I did have some reservations because through the course of the evening, I could hear people just, nothing outrageous, just walking up and down the corridor, sometimes closing a door a bit loud, but talking. And I thought, well, with any workmen or anyone else who have to get up early in the morning, perhaps I might be woken at 6 o'clock, and who needs that? And I didn't actually hear any of those noises after 11 o'clock last night. It was very nice, and I've just gone out and visited the bathroom. Nobody there. Kitchen to start my breakfast routine. Nobody in the kitchen. All good. Oh, I suppose I should tell you about the breakfast situation. There is just one bowl, it seems, in the entire hostel, and one cup, and one spoon. Well, I say that's my assumption. However, what I think the situation might actually be is that, as there are already some long-termers in the place, they've probably appropriated the cutlery and the other utensils, and they're just looking after them in their own room, to make sure that their favorite cup, favorite plate, etc., doesn't get used or go missing. I can't blame them, I suppose. I'm going to do the same with this last bowl and last cup. Otherwise, I run the risk of having nothing for my tea and breakfast cereal. I wouldn't do it in a hostel, obviously, because frankly, I've never been in a hostel which has had such bad situation regarding kitchen utensils. Although that said, I have been in a hostel where there's been nothing more than a sink, maybe a microwave which might work, maybe a small fridge which might work, but maybe no table, no chairs. Yeah. But those are extremely few and far between, those kind of establishments. Not really working hostels which would stand a chance of staying on booking.com simply because the reviews would be even worse than the worst hostels being reviewed on booking.com as we speak. Now then, the bed, super comfy. A little bit low for some people, but perfectly fine for me. And I'm low. 5'4", remember. The pillow, a little on the thin side, I have to say, to be honest. This is where I brought these two little cheeky monkeys into play. Yes, my Vietnam travel pillow. Usually when people see this in a dorm room, they say, "Oh, you've been to Vietnam then?" And, well, I could have bought it on AliExpress, I suppose, but I didn't. I just decided I'd upgrade my travel pillow when I was in Vietnam because the other one was a little bit on the knackered side. It fits nicely into one of my 2 jackets. There's a pillowcase attached with Velcro into one of the jackets. I seldom use the pillow as a pillow, actually, but I do use it for supporting the small of my back and coccyx area, depending, because not all these air flights, not all the buses and trains are comfortable in their seating arrangements. If you've got a bit of a weakness in the back, travel pillow can be very useful. And it was very useful last night as an actual pillow bolster for the thin pillow provided by Hostel Breeze. All my earplugs as usual. There's a towel provided. I do have to say the curtains are incredibly thin. Luckily, I'm on the west side of the building, which means I look out to the Baltic Sea, in theory, although you can't really see it because of the trees. Can't see the wood for the trees. If I had been on the other side of the building, streaming light would have pierced through these wafer-thin curtains. So, I've lucked out again. The window, bit of a funny thing actually. What happens is, there's this one big window panel in the center. And if you open it, it just closes. Must be on some kind of slight tilt. So what I've done is stuck a shoe in there just to make sure that the window stayed open all night. Got fresh air. The noise of the traffic didn't bother me. I'm accustomed to wearing earplugs because I basically find I'm such a sensitive sleeper, I have to wear them all the time, even if I'm in a room just on my own. Can't find any reason to complain. That's good. That's what we want. Now I've got my stretches, my morning exercises to go through, and I thought, just because this is kind of the sort of thing I think other people do in their videos, I'll give you another insight into my strange life. I'll show you my exercise routine. It's not yoga. Some people like to see me tucked away in a little corner of a hostel doing these stretches and flexibility motions, and they decide they're going to comment, because that's what we like to do, isn't it? Oh, doing yoga? Oh, you should do yoga. It's not yoga. I don't want to do yoga. I want to just stick with what I know works for me. Keeps me flexible, I like to think anyway. Now let's see how we can sort the arrangement with the camera out so you can get the best angle, or any angle, of me going through my movements. That's a bit worrying, isn't it? Don't worry. All well and good. There we have it. A loosening up procedure, which I've really found invaluable. It's just grown out of simple need to self-massage my shoulders and knee from time to time, small of my back. At times, it's been as though my entire body has felt as though it's about to seize up. It's something I've had to try and juggle with for over 20 years now. Where there's a will, there's a way, isn't there? That's how I start the day. It's sometimes how I end the day. It's sometimes how I end the day also if I've got to get up incredibly early to go and get some kind of transport at a ridiculous time. You know, when I've been tempted, as we all are sometimes, to opt for that super cheap bargain price. And we turned a blind eye to the fact it means getting up at 3 in the morning because the plane's leaving at 6 in the morning. Sometimes the saving is just irresistible, isn't it? And we manage to forget somehow how horrendous it was to go through that the last time we did it. Who doesn't like saving money? Oh, and I found something funny yesterday. Very useful, actually. Still after 4 years. This refreshing tissue, courtesy of Thai Airways, who I flew back in 2019 on at least one occasion, probably several when I was crisscrossing between many countries on the other side of the world. I think it's time for breakfast, don't you? Bran flakes and cornflakes. No sugar. Yum.